Most Christians walk through their days believing their faith is secure, that their devotion is enough. But there was a warning that Apostle Paul delivered more than 2,000 years ago, a warning that continues to echo through the hearts of believers today. What he spoke of then is unfolding now in ways many would never suspect. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal could change the way you see your faith, your life, and your walk with God forever. The letters of Apostle Paul were never just letters. They were messages that challenged, confronted, and guided the early church. Yet beyond the words, beyond the teachings, there were warnings. Warnings that most Christians today overlook. Warnings that could reshape the foundation of their faith if truly understood. We will uncover 14 crucial warnings that Paul shared. Insights that remain as relevant now as they were in the first century. Lessons that confront the way we live, the choices we make, and the faith we hold. If you are ready to see your life in the light of God's truth, make sure to subscribe, click the bell, share this message with others so we can grow a strong community for Christ, and comment the city you are watching from so we can pray for your city. This is not just knowledge, it is revelation. Before we step into the first warning, take a moment to reflect. How often do we pause to examine the warnings God has left us? The guidance that, if ignored, can subtly shape the course of our spiritual lives. The first warning might completely change how you see your daily walk with God. It challenges what we assume about faith, obedience, and salvation. And as we unfold these messages, you'll realize that Paul's words were never meant to be read casually. They were meant to be lived, to awaken, and to stir the hearts of those willing to listen. So, let us begin. Warning number 1 is not just a lesson from history, it is a mirror reflecting our choices today. Warning 1. In his letter to the Corinthians, Paul addressed a practice that had quietly taken root in the church. What seemed harmless on the surface, division among believers, favoritism, pride, was quietly eroding the foundation of their faith. People believed they were strong in spirit, yet the subtle fractures in their community went unnoticed. Paul observed, challenged, and warned them. But here's what most people don't see. Even today, similar patterns repeat in Christian communities. We measure faith by appearances, by attendance, by the words we speak, while the heart quietly drifts from God's guidance. Are we falling into the same trap without realizing it? Do we judge ourselves by outward devotion while neglecting humility, unity, and love? Paul's warning is still alive, asking us to examine the invisible cracks in our own hearts. Let's move to warning number 2, which reveals something even deeper about how faith can be misunderstood. Warning 2. Paul wrote to the Galatians about relying on law over grace. Some believers believed that strict adherence to rules would earn God's favor. Yet Paul reminded them that salvation is not a checklist. It is a living relationship with Christ, rooted in faith and love. This next part might shock you. Many Christians today still cling to rituals or habits while missing the heart of the gospel. They labor under a system of works, thinking it secures salvation. Could this be affecting your walk with God? Are there areas where obedience becomes a duty rather than an expression of love? Paul's words challenge us to look deeper than routines and traditions. Warning number 3 highlights how spiritual distractions can quietly pull us away from true devotion. Warning 3. In his letters to the Thessalonians, Paul cautioned against idleness and complacency. While some believers focused on prophecy and signs, others neglected the work of the Spirit in their daily lives, losing sight of practical faith. But here's what most people don't see. It's easy to be busy with religion, yet neglect the spiritual disciplines that strengthen the soul. Are we caught up in appearances or performances while missing the personal growth God desires? True faith demands intentional engagement, not passive participation. Now, warning number 4 brings a caution about influence and false teachings, something that reaches into the heart of every believer. 4. Paul warned the Ephesians about deceptive teachings and the subtle seduction of false doctrines. He urged vigilance, calling believers to discern truth from error in both words and actions. This next part might shock you. Even today, Christians are swayed by philosophies that sound spiritual, yet divert the heart from God's truth. Could the messages you absorb each day be shaping your faith without your awareness? Paul's caution reminds us to examine every teaching, every influence with the eyes of discernment. Warning 5 examines the danger of greed and attachment even within the walls of the church. Warning 5. In his letters to Timothy, Paul exposed the danger of desiring wealth over righteousness. He painted a vivid picture of those who pursue material gain at the cost of spiritual integrity. But here's what most people don't see. Even the faithful can be quietly seduced by comfort, recognition, or possessions, believing it will not compromise their devotion. Are we tempted to chase security or status more than the call to God? Paul's warning presses us to value eternal treasure above earthly gain. Warning 6 shows how pride can blind even the most faithful, and why humility is critical in the Christian walk. Warning 6. In his letters to the Philippians, Paul urged believers to embrace humility. He described the danger of self-exaltation, which can quietly undermine love and service. This next part might shock you. Pride can enter even through good intentions, turning devotion into performance. Could pride be keeping us from truly serving others or hearing God's voice? Paul challenges us to examine the motives behind our faith. Warning 7 reveals the danger of ignoring spiritual gifts and opportunities to serve. Warning 7. Paul wrote to the Corinthians about gifts given by the Spirit. He warned against neglecting these gifts or using them selfishly, highlighting the need for purpose and unity. But here's what most people don't see. Many talents and callings remain unused or misapplied, leaving God's work incomplete. Are you using your God-given abilities to glorify Him? Or have they become distractions or symbols of pride? Warning 8 reminds us that temptation is subtle and persistent, requiring constant vigilance. Warning 8. To the Corinthians, Paul described the dangers of yielding to temptation. Even those considered mature in faith were not immune. He urged discipline, prayer, and reliance on God's strength. This next part might shock you. Temptation often appears as opportunity, comfort, or harmless indulgence, but it quietly reshapes the heart. Are we vigilant, or do we underestimate the subtle ways temptation can creep into our daily lives? Paul calls us to steadfastness. Warning 9 uncovers the risks of divisions and disputes within the body of believers. Warning 9. In his letters, Paul frequently confronted quarreling within the church. What started as minor disagreements could escalate, weakening faith communities and harming individual devotion. But here's what most people don't see. Conflicts often fester quietly, eroding love and fellowship more than open confrontation. Are we nurturing peace or unknowingly allowing strife to take root? Paul urges reconciliation and humility. Warning 10 highlights the danger of spiritual complacency and indifference. Warning 10. Paul warned believers to remain vigilant, active, and growing in their faith. He cautioned against drifting into comfort, where spiritual lethargy can take hold. This next part might shock you. Routine worship can sometimes replace true devotion, leaving hearts stagnant. Are we alive in faith or merely going through motions? Paul calls for constant renewal of the heart. Warning 11 examines the quiet power of influence and leadership. Warning 11. In letters to Timothy and Titus, Paul emphasized the responsibility of leaders in the church. Authority carries weight, and misuse can mislead entire communities. But here's what most people don't see. Even well-meaning leaders can unintentionally shape faith in ways that drift from God's intent. Are we following guidance blindly or discerning with God's wisdom? Leadership is sacred, and accountability is essential. Warning 12 confronts the subtle danger of envy and comparison among believers. Warning 12. Paul warned against jealousy and rivalry in the Corinthian church, showing how these emotions fracture unity and weaken witness. This next part might shock you. Comparison creeps quietly into hearts, fostering resentment instead of gratitude. Are we measuring ourselves against others instead of standing firm in God's purpose for our lives? Warning 13 reveals how silence and inaction can compound spiritual danger. Warning 13. Paul urged believers to speak out against injustice and support one another. Silence in the face of wrongdoing allows patterns to continue unchecked. But here's what most people don't see. Passivity often masks itself as humility or patience, yet it carries consequences. Are we standing firm when action is required, or remaining quiet for comfort's sake? Paul challenges us to be courageous. Finally, Warning 14 brings all of Paul's lessons together, pointing to the heart of authentic faith. Warning 14. Paul emphasized love as the guiding principle of all faith. Without it, knowledge, gifts, and service lose their power. The ultimate warning is that even faith can be empty if it is not rooted in love and obedience to God. This next part might shock you. Christians can perform good deeds, uphold doctrines, and yet miss the core of God's desire if love is absent. Is our faith alive, vibrant, and filled with love? Paul's final warning calls every believer to examine the foundation of their heart and actions, and to align completely with God's truth. As we reflect on all 14 warnings, we are invited to pause, examine ourselves, and consider the path of true devotion. These lessons are not merely historical, they are living words for today, calling us to vigilance, humility, and faith that transforms. As we pause and look back on the 14 warnings that Apostle Paul left for the early church, it becomes clear that these are more than lessons from the past. They are mirrors reflecting our own lives today. From the subtle cracks that pride can create to the quiet distractions that pull us from devotion, each warning carries a weight that cannot be ignored. We saw how reliance on rituals over grace can cloud our understanding of salvation. We witnessed how idleness, envy, and false teachings can quietly seep into the hearts of believers, shaping communities without them even realizing it. Paul spoke to divisions, temptations, and the misuse of gifts, reminding us that faith without careful attention can be fragile, even when it appears strong on the surface. And perhaps most striking of all, he warned that even good works, even devotion, can miss the mark if love and humility are absent. These 14 warnings are not distant echoes. They are living words, reaching into our choices, our priorities, and the way we engage with God's truth today. If we take these warnings seriously, if we allow them to penetrate our hearts, they have the power to transform the way we live, the way we serve, and the way we love. They ask us to pause, to reflect, and to step into a deeper, more vigilant, and more faithful walk with God. If you take these warnings to heart, your faith and walk with God will be stronger than ever. You will see your life with new eyes, guided not by routine or complacency, but by understanding, wisdom, and a heart aligned with Christ. Stay close. More revelations are coming, messages that will continue to challenge, inspire, and awaken your spirit. God bless you for watching, and may His guidance fill every step you take. Join this family to grow closer to Christ and never miss a chapter of His wisdom. Together we can walk a path that is alive with faith, hope, and love.